Laurent Brossoit gets his first shootout win of the season as the Golden Knights come back to drop the Wild on the road 4-3.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Golden Knights. I'm Tony Cardasco along with Chris Golick. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. And you could find us on Twitter at Locked On VGK and, of course, on our YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. And we'd like to remind you that you are listening to today's show brought to you by Game Time, the place for last-minute ticket deals. So, Chris, Reilly Smith, the game winner in the shootout, his first game back for the Golden Knights. We had talked about him on yesterday's show, and we had mentioned that perhaps he might be on this road trip, but he was a surprise starter for the VGK, and he winds up coming up big in the shootout.
Yeah, I mean, just so much to like about this game, a game where you and I both, as Reed already pointed out, you and I both thought would go the other way. I thought I was a genius as the clock was winding down and thought Minnesota might pot one for my 4-2 prediction. I'm glad I was wrong, obviously. Certainly good to see VGK battle back and Reilly Smith with a fun little 5-hole goal to win the shootout. And I mean, Pavel Dorofeyev, folks, I don't know what to say. Cassidy, just watching the press conference a second ago, they're trying some things out, moving some pieces here and there. And Dorofeyev sits a couple of games, and look what happens when he comes back. Hero of the day.
And Dorofeyev wasn't even slotted to be playing in the game.
Chandler what's the story there? I honestly have no idea what happened there.
So Stevenson comes up ill, and then they put Dorofeyev into the lineup. Last minute, it appeared.
Wow, okay.
And then they put him on the line with Smith and Carlson, and then he scores a couple of goals. He wasn't even expected to play. And then he has the tying goal in the shootout. And we've talked about this before. They have to find a place for him because he's magic. He's a magical type of a player. He can score. He can do so many things for this team. And he's electrifying at times.
Gary Lawless was so high on Pavel Dorofeyev earlier in the season. He did predict at some point Dorofeyev would crack this roster and be contributing at a high level. Didn't seem like it was going to be the case when the VGK was healthy. And then during this last little injury bug and stuff, right, past the All-Star break, he finds a way into the lineup and dude just scores. My tweet a little while ago was Bruce Cassidy, I think he's done a pretty good job this year, tweaking the lineup and stuff like that. Maybe overthinks it a little bit, but every coach does. But God help every Vegas Golden Knights fan if Pavel Dorofeyev is a healthy scratch anytime soon. I mean, there'll be rage. There'll be the strip will be shut down. Wherever Cassidy lives, they'll be banging his doors down. They'll be calling for his head if Dorofeyev is a healthy scratch from here on out.
Yeah, Dorofeyev with the goal that ties it up there, sends it into overtime within the last minute, within the last 30 seconds. And you were right. It could have been going the other way with an empty net. And just again, VGK finds a way. They find a way to win this game. The Golden Knights now are 5-3 in shootouts. Jack Eichel had his first shootout goal, which he always comes in wide. And I think he really likes to do it that way, but just attack the net. Come on, Jack.
Listen, I haven't been a fan of Jack Eichel in the shootouts, and it was nice to see him get one. Right, it's confidence. Anytime you put the puck in the net in a big circumstance, certainly helps, and that obviously helped ease Brossoit. I mean, it seemed like at one point the shootout was over. Right, I was working tonight, and I was happy the whole night. I was saying, listen. I had a buddy of mine, Brad, who's a big Minnesota Wild fan. I said, listen, you guys can have 2 points. Give us one in overtime. Just give us a point tonight. Hopefully tomorrow we'll talk about Nashville a little bit later, but hopefully we get our points against Nashville. We'll take 3 points out of a possible 4 on this little roadie right now, and we'll move forward right at the stage of the season. And no, I mean, just Dorofeyev pulls. It's an amazing shootout goal. Brossoit, he was fine. I mean, he's not great in shootouts, and that's, whatever. Doesn't need to be, right? But Brossoit's earning the net right now too. That's another thing right now. He is earning the nets, and I'm just at a loss for words at all the things that have happened this season so far. It's so hard to summarize what's going on.
Exactly. So Brossoit on the night, Larry Brossoit, he had 30 saves on 33 shots. I was a little bit surprised that they came back with Brossoit in the game tonight, and we were laying
I said
out
it this morning. I said it on Monday's show. I wanted to see
Yeah.
Brossoit go today.
Yeah, you sure did. And I thought, it was, okay, so now they have to come back with Jay Quick, right, in the game on Tuesday night against Nashville on the road. And then on the Thursday night encounter against the Kings, it won't be
Brossoit. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be quick.
So,
Unfortunate, but I also get it.
Yeah, VGK closing in on clinching the top spot in the division, closing in now. I thought that was a crucial win in Minnesota, and then sweeping Minnesota in the season series, 3-0. And the home and home, they swept them. I thought it was a big, big win for the Vegas Golden Knights that could pave the way perhaps to them winning the Western Conference.
Yeah, I mean, now we're down 5 games left, right? That was game number 77. So we got 5 more games to go. What do we got? Nashville. I mean, you're not going to call a game before it's over, but that's a game that they should win. You got the Kings, then we got the Stars, and we go back to back against Seattle. So I mean, it's Seattle. I mean, obviously the gap is they're not going to be competing for the division anymore. That ship has certainly sailed almost mathematically, not quite yet, but I mean, yeah, we're talking about mathematical clinching scenarios for the West right now. There's 10 more points up for grabs, so the Kings can get to 110. So theoretically, if Vegas can get 7 points, that's a share. I don't know how the tiebreaker would work out if they both wound up doing the same thing, but I mean, a win. I mean, listen, if VGK wins their next 2 games, that's tomorrow, Tuesday night, tonight against Nashville, blah, blah, blah. And then Thursday against the Kings, that's almost the division, not quite yet, but that's almost signed, sealed, and delivering the division right there.
Yeah, Nashville's sinking. We'll get into that in a moment. I listened to some of the radio broadcast. I was back and forth. I was watching college hoops and all that. And on the radio broadcast, they kind of got into the Eichel line, not shooting the puck at all. And they went through a lull. They went through a major lull in the game. And then they finally, obviously, Eichel delivers there in the shootout period. Keegan Colasar had a goal in the game.
Right place, right time. I mean, he's Colasar's been struggling a little bit. His confidence is shot. Ryan Wallace had an interesting tweet, kind of not calling out, but basically saying Colasar is not playing a very confident game. And if you don't got confidence, you'll find yourself on the outside looking in on this lineup as it's coming back to full health right now. Colasar, he has a role on that fourth line, but the only person that I think could push him out of the lineup right now is Carrier, if and when and if he comes back, when he stops building houses, as Tony certainly loves to say. But Colasar, right place, right time. I mean, it bounced off the shaft of his stick, but so what? You got to go to the net and good things happen, right, Tony?
Okay, what about Cotter? What's his role with this team?
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
welcome back, Cotter.
Cotter will be a source of energy should we need him down the stretch, and definitely once the playoffs come. You could see a scenario where if VGK, they drop the first 2 games of a series, they're getting beat up, they're, losing the physical battles. That's a time you might see Cotter come back in right now. But as far as if you're going to rank our top 12 forwards, and let's assume everybody is healthy, including a healthy Mark Stone, where does he rank? I mean, he's behind Dorofeyev right now. He's got to rank about 15, 14 behind Howden and stuff even,
Every time that Reilly Smith comes back off of an injury or something, he seems to play really well and just fit right in, does not ever miss a beat. And that was the case again on Monday night.
I mean, is there a better utility player on this team than Reilly Smith who can do everything? And he's okay on the power play. He's great on the kill. He's great 5-on-5. He's a great locker room guy. Like, what dirt does one possibly have on Reilly Smith? Although we can't make it this far. Can you believe it? Lady Byng himself got a cross-checking penalty today, Tony. William Karlsson cross-checked somebody, and he meant to. He did it on purpose. On purpose.
He's dirty pool now, man. I don't know.
My goodness. I can't
He's
believe
on the wrong side of the tracks these days. I was going to nominate him for
wrong side of the stratosphere.
Wrong side of the stratosphere. Coming up next, VGK travels to Nashville, and we'll talk about that game coming up on Tuesday night. Don't go away. You are listening and watching Locked On Golden Knights. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Well, Game Time has deals on tickets right up until the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy. There's a lot of comedy on this show, so you might want to buy your tickets in advance. Theater, and much, much more. So the Game Time guarantee means that you will always get the best price, right? If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, then Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for one reason, and that is because you get everything that you want and more. It definitely delivers. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you are set. And tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig into your emails. Oh, that's such a pain in the butt. Snag the tickets without a stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. That's right. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem with the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We come to you each and every day from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen of the day. And again, please find us on the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. And one of our good friends tagged me on Monday with the real interesting statistic from, I believe it's one of those either NHL analytics guys or a beat reporter. And okay, so here was, I tagged you back on it too. Only the Blue Jackets have allowed more shot attempts, scoring chances, and high danger chances at 5 versus 5, 60 over the last month than the Golden Knights. Wow. And they already have a league high 3.39 goals against in 60 minutes at 5 versus 5 since March the 3rd, and that comes from Natural Stat Trick. It's a pretty interesting statistic, huh?
I mean, 5-on-5 is where the games are won and lost. You know, special teams are certainly of different levels of importance. Obviously, a team like the Oilers, maybe the special teams are a little more important than, I guess, teams playing the Golden Knights. So is that a concern entering the playoffs? Maybe. It could be. I hope not, but it's something certainly interesting to monitor. I mean, it's just crazy how deep the stats go these days, how many layers these places go and stuff, and it's interesting. And, you know, you can't argue with the numbers, right? You can't argue.
Yeah. Keep sending those stats to us. I find that fascinating. VGK will be playing its third game in 4 nights. Golden Knights travel to Nashville, a team that appears to be in disarray currently. The Stars beat Nashville on Monday night 5-1, and in doing so, Dallas clinches a playoff berth, which we knew was coming. I guess UC Saros had 20 saves in the game. Really not much to report, but again, this is a team that's going backward at a time where you need to start peaking, and Nashville has lost, Chris, 4 out of its last 6.
I mean, this is not expected. Nashville's doing what was expected. That's why they made some of the trades and stuff like that down the stretch. And Nashville's time isn't necessarily now. They're going to flirt with being an 8 seed, but looking at the standings, I mean, really tomorrow, Tuesday night, tonight is probably going to be the last gas as far as, I mean, if Nashville does not win that game, they're almost going to be mathematically eliminated, right? Because they're 1 game less than the Flames and the Jets. They have 3 points less than the Jets, 3 points less than the Flames, 5 points less than the Jets. So
yeah,
they have to win against VGK. They got to get 2 points come however they possibly can. It's a good test for Vegas, right? It's the backside of a back-to-back, very emotional victory against Minnesota. They used every ounce of energy they had to get there. And you're going to get a Nashville team who's pissed off. They got their butts kicked. Their season might have ended already on Monday nights. So they're going to go out there, and it's almost like a playoff type game where you have to eliminate the opponent. This is an elimination game for the Preds and a good test for the Vegas Golden Knights to hopefully find a way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll probably scratch Dorofeyev to make it more difficult on themselves, though.
Right. I know. Chandler Stevenson miraculously will be better. He was ill. That was the report. That was why he was scratched. Cody Glass is centering the top line for Nashville. This is a total rebuild at this point. And Barry Trotz, he's got a lot of work to do as the new general manager when he starts on the job.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a full on rebuild, and if Cody Glass is centering your top line down the stretch, no disrespect, everyone in Vegas still appreciates Cody Glass and what the player he might ultimately become, but right now he's 66 games played and 31 points. So maybe if he's lucky, he'll get around 35 points, and that's gonna be Cody Glass in a nutshell, right? A typical third line center. If his defensive game can develop a little bit, then it'll keep him in the NHL for a long time. I mean, there's people like Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Tomas Nosek. That's kind of where the Cody Glass trajectory is. And maybe he'll figure it out, but who knows? But like I said, Vegas just has to go and take care of business and make sure you don't give hope to Nashville, right? You can't.
Mhm.
I mean, listen, before Monday's game, I was said if Vegas gets 3 points on this trip, it's cool. Now you got to get 4 points. You got to get every single point that's out there and just put your foot on the throat of the Oilers, of the Kings, of the Wild, and of the Stars, and even of the Avalanche in case they come crawling back in. This is a big game again, and Vegas has to be ready for it because Nashville is now probably playing with a nothing to lose mentality. Not easy to win those games.
Yeah, I don't think they have much there as far as talent goes. They lost
Nope.
Ryan Johansson, right? They lost him, but he was
They traded
under
Tomasino, I believe.
Tomasino. I thought no, isn't he in the lineup? I don't know. I
Who's
thought
the
he
one?
was-
Whatever the deal is they made with Tampa.
yeah,
Maybe I got my
that
wheels
wasn't
crossed, but they
Tomasino.
made some crazy trade. Whatever.
Right. But did you hear the story about Matt Duchene? Oh, what a horrible story.
Yeah, my phone was blowing up, and people were literally like sending me videos and stuff of this.
They
And I
have
guess there's
videos
like
of it? No, come on.
I'm not going to
There's
show it. But
videos
I'm
of
gonna,
this? No. But there's videos. Okay, so folks, what happened? Horrible accident on the ice with Matt Duchene against, I think it was the Toronto Maple Leafs. He goes to block a shot with his glove, and he loses the tip of one of his fingers. That's awful.
the reaction of one of the Shearwood, number 44, on the video when he goes off, like he looks away. NHL players, they've seen some gruesome stuff. I've seen my share of it, reffing and stuff.
Oh,
And when
man.
players are looking away
That's
because of
that's
something
awful.
like that, that tells you. I mean, that's that's just terribly unfortunate. And I mean, geez, I've been watching hockey pretty closely, especially for the last few years of my life, but definitely for the last. I'm getting old, but pretty much since about 95, I've been watching hockey pretty closely. I don't recall anything like this happening. We've seen, not to get off, on the wrong track, we've seen
Don't
issues
get so
with throats
gory,
and
man.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've
Don't
seen
get gory.
other things happen. This is a first, though. This is a first.
Okay. I don't want to. Yeah. Let's not get gory. Okay. Coming up next,
You
we will
started
have exactly like a couple kids. It's your fault. I'm telling Dad. Coming up next, locks of the night and our predictions coming up next when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. If you are looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want all that fat and the calories, then you have to try a Built Bar. Of course, it is a good time of the year to kind of do that check again on your New Year's resolutions if they're still in play right now. But again, with Built, you actually have healthy tasting food, and it's actually tasty and it doesn't taste too healthy. Yeah, we do need care packages. You guys better. I hope that they're listening to today's show because send care pack subliminal messaging. We do need more Built Bars in our supply room here. So what makes Built Bars so good? For starters, 100% real chocolate. That's right, 100% real chocolate. They come in really unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond. And we're not sure how Bill does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while they maintain all those macros and 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't have to wait around to go to built.com and wait for the delivery of your Built bars. Now you can get them at your local Walmart and also at your local Sam's Club. That's right. Head to the nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, grab yourself a box of Built bars. And if you are close to Sam's Club, make sure that you run in, grab a 13-bar box with all the hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. You can thank us later, or you can also still go to built.com. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick. We come to you each and every day from Las Vegas, and we thank you for making us your first listen. And please find us on Twitter at Locked On VGK, at TD Chris G, at Tony Dasco, and the YouTube channel Locked On Golden Knights, and keep this momentum going. We're only getting a lot of people like listening because this is like the top team in the West. Is that the only reason why? Or like, you could get those tickets for comedy that we were talking about earlier. Do they come for the comedy show?
I mean, are we like are we the half price comedy tickets? That's like out front of the strip where they're trying to rope you in and stuff like that. Is that awesome. What the show is? It's
for sure
twice half the comedy, twice the price.
So it's time for our locks of the night and time for our predictions. And I'm going to go with a 4-1 VGK final. I don't think Nashville, I just went up and down the lineup and there's no one there. They have no players left, no star quality. Again, not a knock against him, but Cody Glass is your front line center. Okay. Jack Eichel should have a very big night. I'm guessing Eichel will be shooting the puck early and often. And I'm going to go with Eichel, and I'm going to go with Barbashev.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna go on easy street, Dorofeyev. That just seems like the way to go lately, right? Dorofeyev, and let's go William Karlsson, since they'll probably be on the same line. Mm-hmm. If not, maybe William Karlsson will get another cross-checking penalty or something like that to at least.
So he's got a roughing the last 2 games. Oh, he's so feisty. Roughing penalty and a cross-checking penalty.
Wrong side of the strats for Tony. I saw him down there one day.
I'm telling you what, though, he's been listening to me. I've tried to toughen him up by just kind of getting on him on the show.
You better hope he doesn't see you out in the open, Tony. He'll get a roughing penalty and a cross-checking, probably a high-sticking major with a spearing, and possibly, yeah, that's it right there. I don't think a fighting major, but we're not going to go that far. Right. I'm 3-1 Vegas. I don't think it's an easy game. I think Nashville shows up. I don't think it's going to be Vegas just walks in and, gets a big lead and, delivers a finishing blow early. Let's acknowledge the reality. 4 games, 3 games, 4 nights, 2 of them road games, and a big emotional victory. This is the stuff you hear about, right, in the post-game pressers. Last game took a lot out of us, right? Cassidy was talking about that with Minnesota after Saturday's game because they had that big game against Colorado. This was a very big game on Monday evening for the Vegas Golden Knights. It's going to take a toll. And also Jonathan Quick. He hasn't started in a while. We have to assume he's going to be going tonight's. And Quick starts. 3 goals might not be enough for the Vegas Golden Knights.
You were talking earlier about Tanner Jeannot. That's who you were talking about. That got traded to Tampa. Again, they got Cal Foote in return.
Yep.
And a conditional first.
Remember
all these? Okay. It was a conditional first-round pick in the 2025 draft, a second-round pick in 2024, a 3rd, 4th, and 5th round pick in this year's upcoming NHL draft.
F those picks. Picks.
Total rebuild.
It's Kelly McCrimmon's nephew over there in Tampa. Right, but how does Jeannot bring that type of return?
No one knew. I think the fans are still perplexed there in Tampa.
I mean, they could have had Erik Karlsson.
Right.
Who else? They could have Erik Karlsson. They could have had Timo Meier, and they could have had the guy from St. Louis all in one, Tarasenko, for all those draft picks. They could have all 3 of them.
Well, that's crazy. Yeah. Isn't it kind of wild? I shouldn't use that term, wild. But isn't it crazy how it appears that Bruce Cassidy is making all the right moves, even though unintentional. I
He
mean,
was laughing about that in the post-game presser. He was
what did he say?
Right
I missed
before he
that.
went offline, something about, there's a wisdom to it, and he was chuckling and kind of making fun of himself. And I mean, listen, he's done a pretty good job all season. Cotter coming in and out. When Cotter comes back in the lineup, Cotter usually is noticeable. Reilly Smith always hits the ground running after injury, we just mentioned. The goalies, I mean, listen, the goalies are fine. The goalies are fine. I mean, do I love the prospect of Laurent Brossoit possibly being our goalie that's going to hopefully lead us to a Stanley Cup final? But what was it? Darcy Kemper, right? Was the old is a Stanley Cup champion.
Right.
Colorado
exactly.
Avalanche.
Yeah.
So, Vegas, it's a very similar situation. Colorado had a wonderful defense anchored by Devon Taves and, of course, Cale Makar. Outside of that, I think the VGK defense pound for pound is better than the Avalanche defense from last season because they have more talent up and down the entire top six, where they're a little more top heavy in Colorado. So, it's interesting times ahead, and Logan Thompson still might have something to say about the net as well if it's not in the regular season. Come the playoffs, Jonathan Quick is going to have a playoff gear. I think he had a good playoff last year against Edmonton. So, Cassidy, he's going to have to earn his paycheck right now, and he's going to have to make the right choices because he's going to have choices up and down this lineup, not just in the nets.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for the VGK. And again, there's going to be players coming in and coming out of the lineup. And, Cassidy was juggling the lines a little bit of late, right?
Dorofeyev wasn't even planning to play today. He basically said it. Dorofeyev was not going to play today.
I know. That's so crazy. Chandler Stevenson, hopefully it's just the 24-hour flu bug and he's back. And then who will he bump out of the lineup?
Howden,
Amadio.
Probably, I mean,
right?
did I don't know if Howden skate today or no? I can't remember if Howden was in the lineup or not.
Yeah.
So I mean that's where you're looking possibly if that happens. You kind of shift everyone down one, and who knows? I mean, maybe not. Give Stevie some more time to get better. Don't rush him back. You don't get him sick in the locker room.
Right.
Don't get the locker room sick, whatever virus he's got going around.
Okay. We appreciate everyone tuning in. We thank you all for making us your first listen each and every day. And for my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights, and we'll see you once again tomorrow right here.